Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Shark. They're bad guys, right? They look bad, they sound bad, they even smell bad. But they don't want to be bad guys. They want to be good. In fact, they want to be heroes. And to prove that they're heroes, they're going to do good deeds, whether you like it or not. They're scary, they're dangerous, they're just plain bad. But they're also very nice.
Hi, Rocco Stano at TLA, Texas Library Association, and one of the things I like about TLA is I meet people from all over the world, and I have Aaron Blabey, rhymes with baby, direct from the mountains of Australia, right?
I am. I live in the Blue Mountains outside of Sydney.
There are blue mountains in Australia. We have blue mountains here in the U.S.
They're very beautiful. It's a lovely place. Not dissimilar to where you live, I think. It's deciduous trees and it's very pretty.
Yes. Well, I'll have to put that on my travel bucket list. Yes. And so this is not the first interview you've had here at TLA. You had an interview with the Austin Public Library yesterday, I understand.
I did, and I was interviewed by a small blue puppet. And he was delightful, and he did a very good job. So the bar has been set quite high. So
the pressure is on. Okay, and so let's see if I can do better than a puppet. So the bad guys. This is book 6 coming out of the Bad Guys series. So tell me about the Bad Guys.
Well, the Bad Guys is about a bunch of scary animals who are trying to change their reputation. There's Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Shark, and Mr. Piranha. Everybody knows they're bad, they're dangerous and scary, but they want people to think they're not that, so they go about doing good deeds whether you like it or not.
So are they misunderstood?
Indeed, they are indeed, but they also have shady pasts, which is where the comedy comes from.
Yes, and these are, I have all your books here on my lap, so they're sliding around. So I am going to pass those to you, but they are graphic novels.
They are. Yeah. They are indeed. I do the pictures and write the stories, and it's genuinely the best job in the world. I love doing this. It's just it's such a privilege to get up in the morning and make these. It's because they have really in the last year just taken off. We've gone to, I think we're almost just under 2.5 million copies in print, which is crazy. So it's exploded in the last 12.
Wait. Did you say 2.5 million copies?
Almost 2.3 at the moment, I think. Yeah, it's really exploded. And what makes that so wonderful is because I live in my little house in the mountains, and I have my little studio, and I'm all alone. And I go to, apart from my family, but I go down to my studio and I make these, and it was enough fun when I was just making them for myself, but now I know that there's so many kids out there waiting for the next installment that it's such a thrill.
And you know, as a former librarian, a retired librarian, when a series is popular, you would have kids come in every day and they would say, "Is it in yet? Is it in yet?" Like you want to just give the creator like a little push, like move it on. Yes. So this is number 6, and tell us how did you become a graphic novelist?
I've had a bit like the Bad Guys. I've had a shady past. I've done a lot of things. I was when I left high school, I became an actor in Australia. And I did that for about 10 years. It never really fit, so I started painting, and I loved that, but I still felt a little formless. I wrote a children's book, my first one. It was kind of well received, but didn't nobody bought it. So I started working in advertising. I've done a lot of things as a writer. I wrote ads on television. And then I decided around the age of 40 to give it one last push with my books, and I wrote that series, the first one of that series, Pig the Pug, and it became in Australia pretty much a hit overnight, and is equally done the same in there's almost 2 million copies of that in print now too, that series. Yes, so it sort of, this was, what was this, 4 years ago? So yes, this period, particularly the last 2 years, is just exploded. And to answer your question, how I became a graphic novelist, I think it was taking all those experiences coupled with my childhood love of graphic. Do you know Tintin? You know the Tintin?
Yeah, Belgian.
Yeah, absolutely, and the big in Australia, not so big here, I think, but it's huge in Australia when I was growing up, and I wanted to do my version of something like that, but sort of sillier and funnier, which is what this is.
Sillier and funnier. So do you have a pug?
I grew up with one, and he was quite a nice pug, but I also worked with a man once who it was emotionally colourful, and I morphed him with my mother's dog and came up with Pig.
Is he? Does he know that?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So here at TLA, I am learning lots of KidLit trivia, and so that's just to add to the trivia, and then we have everyone loves unicorns, so you just rode the wave on this, huh?
Yes, absolutely calculated. No, not at all. This has also been. It sounds like I'm making it up, but it's exploding as well. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of copies of Thelma now. It's about a plain little pony who wants to be special, so she puts a carrot on her head. There's a bizarre accident involving a truck full of pink paint and glitter, and she turns into a unicorn and becomes very famous. It's a book about dealing with fame and the pitfalls that come with that. So yeah, look, it's I have this little, and there's a sequel for that coming too. So Thelma, Pig, and the Bad Guys is my own little universe I'm building.
Okay, just going back to Thelma and dealing with fame. So is it autobiographical?
No, not really. But what I did do, because Australia is a small population, and I worked as an actor for a long time. You work with everybody really, because there's not that many of us.
Right.
So I did encounter people who were very famous and worked with them many times, and not always people as happy as you think they might be with the situation they're in, and that inspired the idea, I guess. A couple of things. It's always multiple sources, but yes, that was the main reason for that theme.
Right. So back to the latest Bad Guys. Do you have either a favorite spread or a drawing that was difficult?
Well, both actually. In this one, which is Alien versus Bad Guys, it's a little bit of a homage to both the Ridley Scott and the James Cameron movies of Aliens, and I do like this spread here, where the alien is sucked out into space, like in the movie. However, this one can breathe in space and just comes back in through the back door a couple of pages later. But yes, and that was tricky because there's lots of movement, and I do it all with ink, and I draw them much larger than they exist in the book to get the detail in. But it's a lovely process. I've actually learnt that I started as a painter, but I prefer drawing these days. It's more immediate. I get a little frustrated when I paint these days. It takes a bit too long.
So now when you create the images in a larger version now in your studio, do you have them all hanging around?
No.
They're around somewhere.
Well, it's interesting. My studio up until this point has been it's tiny. I love it, and it's the center of the universe for me. But it's very, very small, so everything has to be put away immediately. We've just sold our house and are moving to a space that is much bigger, which is exciting. But I'm also slightly panicked because everything that's happened has happened in that little box. So, yeah, we'll see.
In the same area of Australia?
Same little town, yeah.
So are you like the celebrity in the town?
I'm very good at being invisible. So my wife, however, is not. So yeah, look, I can drift under the radar, and that's why I love living where I live, because I often write, particularly the picture books. I write them and look for ideas when I walk, and I can walk around and type on my phone with no danger of being run over because it's a very quiet place. It's great, So yeah, the process is it's in a nice rhythm at this point.
So is this your first TLA?
It is. It is. I've never been to Texas either. It's cold. Who knew that was? Who knew that happened? I didn't.
Right, and it is big. And Texas, they do everything big. So this is their state library conference, and I'm a past president of the New York Library Association, and I have to say, yes, but we never had a conference this big. So you are at the top state conference here, and we're glad you are.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
And how long are you in the U.S.?
For about a month. Yeah, it's quite a long tour. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the tour. So where do you recall some of the places?
Yes, I do. I'm leaving Dallas tomorrow to go to San Francisco. I'm there for a couple of days, I think 3 or 4 days, and then I go to Phoenix in Arizona. And then I don't quite remember the order, but it's Chicago. I'm being prompted by my editor off camera. Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, and then New York. And then up to Toronto for a day, and then I fly home.
Well, you're going to hit all the high spots here in the U.S. and bookstores?
Bookstores, schools, conferences, yeah, all over the place.
Great. Well, stop by the KidLit TV studio when you're in New York, and we'll show you around.
Awesome. That would be lovely.
Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.